That's a big fish.
Are you kidding? Oh my God!
Big mama came out. This is the biggest fish I've ever killed bowfishing.
Guns out, buffs out, baby.
Good job. What a night. Bigger than a rock. Look, there's a big one. Nice shot, Taylor.
Get him, Smitty! Doubled up, baby! Hey!
Good job, man. There we go. We got two of them now. He's a good gator. He's a monster. That's a good gator.
Wow, love bowfish. Come here. Time for a free boat ride in the AMS boat.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bowfishing Buzz. My name is Matthew. I'm here with my good buddy D. Schmidt.
Yep.
Presented by AMS Bowfishing and
Megamouth Bowfishing as well.
that's right, episode 38, Schmitty.
38, that's crazy. And I think we ask forgiveness because I think we are a week late on our traditionally planned.
We did. Yep.
But boy, oh boy.
You were gone.
Not to
You were
make
on vacation.
excuses. I was on vacation. Yep. We had, over the last 2 weeks here, we have had a lot going on.
And it's still going crazy.
It is. And it's fun and it's awesome. It's just we just gotta find time to sit down for an hour or so and talk to you guys.
Right.
So we're finally back in the studio here.
Mm-hmm. Lots of stuff going on. Big weekend for us a couple weeks ago, Schmitty.
Yep, our biggest.
Absolutely. And what an awesome event it was.
Yeah.
The 11th annual AMS Big 20.
Yep.
It sure made us work.
Yeah.
It sure made us work because, as you all know, 3 weeks before our event, we had to change locations.
Yeah.
The old Marshall Fairgrounds was getting all reconstruction, and there was trucks and dirt piles and excavators and backhoes and roads torn up. So
Yeah.
we had to make a little maneuver here. But I tell you what, Schmitty, it was really awesome having the AMS tournament right here at the AMS shop in the Stratford Industrial Park.
Absolutely. And honestly, I don't know how it could have gone any better.
No.
We're sitting there talking about it after the tournament was over, and
Right.
we're like, so what do we really need to? And we're constantly making little tweaks and everything to make things go faster and better. We do that every year, but
Right.
there was because we didn't know. I mean, 3 weeks beforehand, here we are changing literally every single thing that we had
Right.
planned. We didn't know how everything was going to go, and I think it went spectacular.
It was awesome.
And again, to everyone who shot it, it was a lot of work on our end to get everything good to go. Thank you guys for being cooperative. You guys had to, change course, especially people who have shot it in the past. They're familiar with the fairgrounds, where to park, where weigh-ins are going to be, boat registrations,
Right.
how you drive in, how you get out. Everyone was very easy to work with, and I think it went very smooth. So thanks to everybody who shot it as well.
Right. A big thanks to the Stratford, workers here that allowed us to have it here at the Industrial Park.
Yep.
One thing that I did say in the tournament meeting was, there's a lot of businesses up here, a lot of big businesses on the roads where everybody was parked and stuff like that there. And I told everybody what I want after the event is done is to have the Industrial Park like the tournament was never here.
Yep. Exactly.
And we drove around on Sunday after weigh-ins when everybody was gone. And that's a huge hats off to all the teams and individuals that competed in the tournament this year. You guys did an awesome job of being respectful of the properties here and the roads up here and keeping it clean. That's awesome. I can't thank you guys enough for doing that.
Actually, it's funny, Matt. Right on Sunday morning, after we weighed in, everyone was gone. We cleaned everything up, which, wow, was that a lot easier than having to haul everything to Marshfield. But I did one last drive-through just in my truck before I left, just to make sure. We wanted to go make sure everything was up to par. And I literally had to sit there and think to myself, am I on the right? Because, first of all, think of all the fish that were shot in boats, weighed in, culled, the whole deal. And I was going down, I forget what the road is over here that we had people parked, and I was driving along, and I had to ask myself, I'm like, am I on the right road? Was this one that we left that we didn't have people parked on or people culling? And I'm like, no, this is right.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, the grass wasn't
That's really
trampled
cool.
down. There was no fish. And I'm like, wow, that's a hats off for
Yeah,
sure. That was a
absolutely.
lot of people, and everyone was respectful, and we greatly appreciate that. And so does the businesses here in the industrial park, and they'll let us do it again now next year.
Right. Don't forget, if you are listening to this podcast on the streaming devices out there that we're on, don't forget that this is also going to be on our YouTube channel with a bunch of video
Yeah.
of the tournament and all kinds of other video that you can watch as we're talking here.
Yeah.
So you're not just listening, you can watch a bunch of video on there as well.
And I think too, Matt, everyone who listens to just the audio, it's, that's why we put it out there. We do the audio as well. Every episode, people might not know this if they haven't watched the video version of it. You spend a lot of time piecing together video clips of exactly what we're talking about.
Try my best, yes.
We're talking footage from trips. We're
Right.
going to have a ton of Big 20 footage that you're going to clip together, I'm assuming, for this podcast, which we've got a ton of that stuff. So if you guys
Right.
want an even deeper insight, deeper dive into what we're talking about here, that video podcast does a great job of putting a picture to what you guys are thinking about as we're talking.
Absolutely. And don't forget, if you are looking for some really awesome bow fishing videos that are out there somewhere, don't forget to check us out on Carbon TV.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of episodes out there now, Derek. I think we're up to like 6 episodes right now.
Yep.
And we have a bunch of little teaser clips in there as well. And we also have these
Video
podcasts out there as well. We're playing them. We started with our first one of this year, so they're not up to date as what we're talking about right now, but they're in the video podcast, and you can watch them along as well on there. So Carbon TV has a bunch of our awesome videos out there. Just search AMS Bowfishing and click on the episodes and enjoy watching some of our bowfishing
Absolutely.
shows.
So, Matt, should we get into, we got to talk about it. Some of the placings, the people who shot, did well, the overall tournament itself.
Yeah, it was. Before we get into that, Derek, I just want to say that, so Saturday, of course, is a big day. It's registration day. It's where you go out and park, and we try to make it as smooth as possible. Registration this year was awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
And then from registration, they go down to the boat inspections.
Yep.
You guys do an awesome job with that. And then from there, they go out and park. I mean, that was so nice and smooth this year.
Yep.
It was flawless.
All right, are you
was
ready?
awesome.
Are you ready to hear some shocking news?
Let's hear some shocking
You might
news.
want to put your seatbelt on for this one.
Oh.
Of all the boats that I inspected, I did not have a single boat that had navigation lights that were out.
That's
Everybody
awesome.
was up to par. That's a minor miracle right there.
Right, because that was always our biggest one. A lot of guys, some of their navigation lights didn't work and stuff in the past.
Yes. So that I could not believe it. I'm thinking, I wonder who's going to get the first one. Am I going to get it? Is Kevin going to get it? Is Bob going to get it? Nope. Everyone just flew right through. They were all working fantastic, and we made everybody turn them on. So
Yep. And
that
that's
was,
one of
that
the
was
big
cool.
ones that we do on there for boat inspections.
Yep.
That's awesome. So yeah, let's get into, I know leading up to the tournament, we had a lot of, a cold front was moving through the week of the tournament.
Saturday was cold. Registration day was cold.
Absolutely it was. Leading up to the tournament, lots of rain in certain parts of the state.
Yeah.
Lightning storms. I've never seen lightning storms like that, in a long time, man. It was just a constant flicker of lightning and stuff like that there. So we had, what we always like to have before the tournament is a consistent weather pattern.
Yep. Keep fish there.
Keep fish there. This here pattern, I'm sure, definitely pushed fish deeper and deeper because it was cold.
Yeah.
We had some winds and it was cool out. Thank gosh they were calling for rain on Saturday. That we didn't get, so that was a big plus. But in case you didn't come to the event, so basically we opened up our big garages here where the boats and everything and the shop trucks and everything go. And the Boy Scouts were there cooking up food.
Yeah, huge thanks to them. That was really cool to
we
see.
had tables and chairs set up. We had the music playing.
Yep.
And it was just a really neat. We had bleachers out there, and people were sitting in the bleachers, and it was so fun just to walk around and talk to everybody that was competing in the tournament. And I really had a good time. We had Red Shutter Media here. They were flying the drones. They were taking a bunch of video and a bunch of pictures and stuff like that there. So it was a really, really fun event. And Oh, then we even threw a bunch of moon
I was
pies.
just gonna
Smitty.
say, the first moon pie that I threw out of the boat, and I bet you we threw probably 100,
96.
96 of them.
96.
I think I came a 16th of an inch away from hitting the drone. As I released it, I'm like, oh, there's the drone, and I'm seeing my moon pie fly. I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
and it just barely missed it. But I think I threw my shoulder out throwing those.
We were
moon
throwing a
pies.
bunch of swag, a bunch of interlock shirts,
Oh, yeah.
hats,
Yep.
can koozies, a bunch of AMS shirts. Then, of course, we had vanilla, banana, and there's one other one, I think.
Do they
chocolate.
Do they have a chocolate? Yeah.
We had the chocolate moon pies. We were whipping the mini moon pies.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun. Then, of course, after that, we had the national anthem. We had the flag up on the AMS boat there and the national anthem playing, and it was just a really, really awesome atmosphere and to get everybody jacked up. And then for takeoff, Derek, this was impressive.
I couldn't. Yeah. I'll have a little side note on this one.
So
too.
there were 79 teams that were here. There was like 83 that were signed up, but we had a couple that didn't show up. A couple of late cancellations in there. So what we did is we lined up the vehicles the best we could for takeoff at the start of it. We had a big line of all the trucks ready to rock and roll because the cops wanted to close the stop and go lights down there at 153 and 97. And at 6 o'clock, we did the old takeoff.
Yep.
The last boat turned out of the industrial park and onto the highway in 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
That's just crazy.
79 trucks and their boats
rigs.
out of the parking lot in 6.5 minutes. That is awesome.
I was sitting there down by where we were letting all the boats go through, and I was talking to there was a local guy down there who was down there. He just wanted to watch all the boats and everything. He always he's bowfishing's cool, whatever. So I was sitting there talking to him. All the boats are going through, and we had them in pods of 20 roughly.
Right. Yep.
So you'd kind of get your pods moving through. And I'm sitting there, and the last boat comes through that I'm seeing, and it turns out on the highway, and I'm looking back. I'm like, oh no.
Got a big gap.
Yep. What happened? Did somebody? And I'm sitting there. I get in the four-wheeler. I'm like, okay, where? I'm trying to look and see, and then I don't know. One of the AMS employees is like, all right, that's it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that we got everyone out of there that quick. I literally thought there was a pod or two that were backed up for some reason.
Sure.
Something happened.
Sure.
A truck didn't start. Something broke down. Whatever. I'm like, holy cow! 6 minutes for 79 big rigs to move out of there. That was impressive to see.
Yeah. Yep. It made it so much easier than in the past because in the past everybody parks in a big field, so you can't drive quite as fast. It's bumpy and it's lumpy and it's you can't go quite as fast. We're here. Everybody's on a paved road, a paved street,
Facing the right way. Everyone's
Facing the
facing
right
out
way.
where they got to go. And
Yep. It was awesome.
yeah, that was cool. It was
awesome.
It was really cool to see.
So then everybody leaves at the 6 o'clock takeoff, and they return Sunday morning for weigh-ins. And we were here at 5 a.m. The whole AMS crew was here at 5 a.m. getting the scales and the wagons and everything all set up, and the big fish boards and the bleachers and
Those bleachers. Oh,
they were cool. That was
they were cool, but man, they were
They
heavy.
were heavy. They were really heavy. Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, the first boat started coming through like at little before 6 in the morning was when we started letting them come through because we were ready. Normally they start at 6 a.m., but we were ready, so we started letting the first couple of boats that were in line come through early. And right off the bat, we had some really nice big commons, 26, 27, 28-pound commons coming through. And it was really, really smooth operations again on the weigh-ins. We have 2 weigh-ins.
Yep.
So the trucks basically come up and they park alongside of a trailer where we have all the scales and the brute barrels. And basically all you got to do is take your fish from your boat and put it right into our barrels on those wagons, on those trailers.
We tear every barrel before we put fish in it, and then it's just a matter of how big your fish are and how many fish you have as far as how many we can put in a barrel at a time.
And then you got your big fish categories, of course, that you got to weigh.
Yep. So just from a standpoint of me being on a scale, Matt, when a boat would pull up, first thing we'd ask them, do you have any category fish you want to weigh? Big dogfish or any of the subcategories that we had there. So we'd do that. If they didn't have that, we'd say, okay, for tiebreaker, give us your biggest common.
Right.
So then we'd weigh that fish by itself.
Yep.
And then after that fish would count towards their big 20, obviously, and then we'd just go at it from there, and we would total up the weights. We had Alyssa was on our scale. Captain signs the little piece of paper with that total weight.
Yep.
and you give us your cow tag, and you're out of here.
Right.
Tractor comes up
Tractor
with
comes
the
up.
loader. We dump the fish in the tractor. Meanwhile, there's another boat that can come up and get ready for the weigh-in. Tractor takes the fish away, and we just well-oiled machine. One boat after another.
It is. Yep, no doubt. And the weigh-ins were nice and smooth, like you said. And man, we had some close weights.
Yeah.
Some of the weights were within ounces,
Yep.
you know, and some of the big fish categories were within ounces. And once again, the Boy Scouts were down there cooking up breakfast at the. I think they had like pancakes and.
Then they had all that food, and then also ground up coffee shop here in town.
Right.
Everybody was walking around with coffees. That was cool that they came down and did that, watching the weigh-ins.
Specialty coffee she was brewing up down here, and it was just a neat thing. I remember looking down the lines there of the 2 lanes of boats coming up to weigh-ins there, and Red Shutter was flying their drone over top of those boats, and we're looking down at the screen, and we're like, oh yeah, that team's got some pretty good fish laying on their deck. We'd fly down a little bit further. Oh yeah, these guys got some pretty nice fish laying on their deck. And then the guys on the boat would kind of look up, they hear the drone, you know, they kind of look up at us, and all of a sudden they'd grab a fish and they'd hold it up.
That's cool.
To the drone and stuff like that there.
That's
and stuff.
cool.
So yeah, it was really fun, and the weights were really close, and the teams did an awesome job of once again culling their fish and having their 20 fish ready to be weighed and their category fish ready to be weighed. There was no hesitations on the scales, and we were done with weigh-ins at 9:15, Schmitty.
And I will say, okay, so we're done. We started at a little bit before 6.
Yep.
All right, done by, like you said, 9:15. During that first probably hour and a half, Matt, it was not a steady stream of boats because you had to be back and let us know that you're coming back to weigh-ins by 8 o'clock.
Right.
And so there'd be times we'd weigh a boat, and then we'd,
10
15 minutes.
Right.
Oh, okay, here comes another one. There we go. And then, I don't know.
Then probably around 7:30.
I was going to say 7:30. All of a sudden we look, and the line, you can't see the end of the line.
Right.
So as far as like, honest to God, weighing as fast as not as fast as we can, but just weighing how
the boats come through.
How the boats would come through. It was like less than a 2-hour deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. It went really smooth. It was cool to see.
Yep. So, Schmitty, we had 80 teams that had paid.
Yep.
Okay. There was, I think, 79 total that were at the event, and like I said, we had 83, but a couple of them canceled here at the last minute. So that was a total payout, Schmitty, of $20,000.
Booyah.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. And of course, 10,000 of that goes to the first place team.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So what we did is we paid out the top 9 places, Derek.
Yep.
And in 9th place, weighing in 431 pounds, was Team Bloody Shaft Bowfishing, and they took home $300, Schmitty.
Yep, that's awesome. Bloody Shaft, nice shooting.
Yep.
We'll work up the line here. Let's see. 1.4 pounds away in 8th place, $400. 432.4 total pounds of weight. Carpzilla Bowfishing.
Yep.
8th place.
And it was so cool because Carpzilla, they had a youngster on their boat.
Yes.
They had a little youngster on the boat there, and I went up there and I was talking to him to see how the night went and stuff like that, and he was all jacked up. He says, yeah, those guys were all busy on the one side of the boat, and I saw a fish on my side of the boat, so I shot it, and that carp weighed 23 pounds.
Oh, gosh.
He was all jacked up, and it was so cool. It was just awesome.
You know what that is there, Matt? That's the future of the sport.
That's the future of the sport. That's
that
right.
little kid's going to shoot the Big 20 in 10 years. He's going to be shooting the Big 20.
Yep, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yep.
So in 7th place, now remember, 8th place was 432.40 pounds. In 7th place, weighing in 432.80 pounds.
Crazy.
Winning $500, Team Redneck Addiction.
6th place, 434.75 pounds. All right, $600. Bloody Boat.
Bloody Boat.
Bloody Boat.
And their big fish was 34.4 pounds.
Yep.
In 5th place, weighing in 444.20 pounds, winning $800, the Wood Wizards.
The Wood Wizards.
The Wood Wizards.
The Wood.
Good job.
Yep. 4th place, 452.4 pounds, $1,200. Carp Unlimited.
Carp Unlimited. In 3rd place, weighing in 460.80 pounds. Their big fish was a 34-pounder. Taking home $2,200. The big dogs.
Big dogs.
Big dogs.
They shot some big fish that night, too.
Big dogs shot some big fish.
Yep. Second place, 498.25 pounds. Big fish, 34.3-pound common, bringing home $4,000. Team bottom feeder.
Bottom feeder.
Second place. Nice shooting,
Good job
guys.
on that, guys. And then your 2022 AMS Big 20 champions, weighing in 548.40 pounds, taking home $10,000. Team Touchin' Crocs.
Touchin' Crocs. What a team name
Touchin'
right
Crocs.
there. You got those names for that team,
I
Matt?
do on there. We've got Reese Bakken, Cody Kowalczak, Mitch Fohl, and Maverick Riley.
Nice shooting, guys. That's awesome.
Maverick is the Mr. Mullet Man.
Yeah.
Yep, they worked hard. They had some good fish. I know Maverick has been on the water for. I've seen a lot of his pictures on Facebook this whole year, and he's been on the water. I think that's his job, is bow fishing. I think that's what Maverick does. He's a bow fishing fool.
Yeah. I know when we were
And I love it.
When we were down at the Bass Pro,
Yeah.
he came over to the booth.
Yeah.
And I just overheard him tell. He's like, "Yeah, I rolled in here at 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Drove down here, got here at 1, met the guys at the boat ramp. We scouted that night, and now I'm here." So
Yep.
I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this guy doesn't sleep."
And so once again, congratulations to Team Touchin' Crocs, $10,000. The AMS Big 20 champions, 548.40 pounds. They had a stack of big old fish on there. So congratulations. Hats off to that. Now, Schmitty, let's get into some of the big fish category and the prizes that they won.
Yep.
Let me just scroll down here.
Yeah, we got that somewhere here.
There we go. Alrighty, yep, right there. So the heaviest buffalo shot in the tournament weighed 24.6 pounds by Team 608 Carpers.
608 Carpers.
And they walked away with an Oneida Osprey, donated by Oneida. That's a heck of a nice prize right there for the heaviest buff.
Yeah.
And now it's crazy because the heaviest buff weighed 24.6 pounds. Right behind that was a 24.3 and then a 24.2. Now that's really crazy because just 7 days before that, there were people were shooting 40s and mid 40s and some 50s and some 60s and stuff like that there. But that cold weather, the buff spawn on a lake that we shot lasted 2 days this year, and it was done.
Yeah.
So it went really, really quick there. So that's why I was really curious to see what the heaviest buff was going to weigh, and it definitely showed that cold water and that cold front really pushed a lot of those fish deep, and the spawn was done in a lot of areas.
Yeah. Right before the tournament, Matt, too, we had that employee day, shooting fish.
Yep.
Think of how many 24-pound buffs we shot that day.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
they were swimming
crazy.
everywhere.
It was everywhere. That's heck of a prize to take home for a 24-pound fish. That's a nice fish. It's not a huge fish, but that's a heck of a prize to take home for a 24-pound fish. You know?
Bet it is. You bet it is.
And back to the big fish here, common carp. The biggest common carp, 35.7 pounds by Team Bad Influence. They took home an American Hooligan bow donated by AMS, sharp-looking bow.
They won the Big Fish Trophy.
Yep, the Big Fish Trophy.
Made by Randy Parker.
Those are always so unique and cool
unique
looking.
trophies. They're awesome.
Yep, and they got to take home a American Hooligan bow.
Plus,
Schmitty,
that was the heaviest overall fish of the tournament.
Darn right it was.
So they got the American Hooligan kit, they got the Big Fish Trophy, and they got the Big Fish check at $2,310.
Now that's a heck of a 35-pound fish right there. All kinds of prizes for that big old gal there.
Wow.
Yep, that's cool. That's awesome. That's crazy how one fish can really bring home the bacon.
Absolutely.
And all it takes is stumbling into one somewhere. You don't necessarily have to take
that's
top five.
Right, that's third place money right there.
Yeah, right. For just shooting a big old fish. So hats off to Bad Influence.
Absolutely. The heaviest drum, 12.55 Team Dirty Merc Bowfishing. For that, they took home $500 donated by John's Custom Bowfishing Boats.
Yep. Yep.
How about that? $500 for shooting a 12-pound drum.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. A little side note here, Matt. John came in and donated something to the AMS shop while you were gone last week.
Did he bring some donuts?
He didn't bring donuts, but he brought the most heavily frosted, thick brownies I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, I missed it.
I think they were like a pound a piece. They were fantastic. So not only did he donate $500 for the biggest drum, he also donated a bunch of chocolate to our bellies here at the AMS shop. So that was pretty
I missed
cool.
out on it.
Yeah.
I missed out on it.
Yep. So biggest quillback now, 9 pounds even by Team Something Incorporated. That's a clever name right there.
They won the quillback last year as well.
Really?
Yep.
So they got a quillback honey
It's
hole
actually
somewhere.
pretty cool because Something Incorporated is an all-female team.
Oh, nice. That's who that is. Okay, I got you. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. That's cool seeing them come up every year too.
Right.
That heaviest quillback won an Arrow LED light kit donated by Arrow LED.
Yeah.
I know when we were giving that out and we had it on the prize table, there was lots of people going, "Ooh,
Right.
oh, that's nice."
And those are the cool ones. We have them in the AMS boat. It's those interior lights.
Yep.
Where you can actually have an app and you can change the different colors on those.
And you can put it on like strobe, I think,
Yeah.
can't you, to have
Yep.
it all bouncing around.
And so they won that interior light kit, and they also won 2 of the driving lights.
Oh,
from
really?
Arrow LED.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Nice shooting there.
So that was a nice little price bag right there. The heaviest dogfish, 9.4 pounds, Team Carp Connection. And they won one of our sponsors here.
Oh, yes.
Megamouth Reel. How cool was that?
Awesome. That's awesome.
So look at that dogfish. The heaviest dogfish was 9.4. Then it went 9.2. And then 8.5. Yep. That's how close those were.
Yep. And there wasn't a ton of dogfish weighed in either. I mean, that's really close for the amount of dogfish that we saw this weekend. We're down to the biggest gar here, 5.4 pounds by Team Austin. Heaviest gar won a PSE Mud Dog bow kit donated by the Wisconsin Bowfishing Association.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for that donation. That's awesome. 5.4 pound gar, win a bow.
Yep. Team Austin.
Team Austin.
Team Austin. Now, the gar weights were down quite a bit from in the past.
Yeah. Yep.
Reason being is they got just a ton of water on the Mississippi River.
Oh, yeah.
And the water dirtied up terribly bad. They had a lot of the gates open on the dams on different pools down there in the Mississippi River. So I don't think a lot of teams went down to the Mississippi River this year like they had in the past. Because usually we're getting some pretty good sized gar in here, some 50-inchers and stuff like that. So that's why the gar was down this year. But we can't change Mother Nature, can we, Schmitty?
No, we cannot. No.
Nope. And then this is another really awesome prize.
Yeah, it's very
right
cool.
Here.
This one here is why you got to come back to weigh in.
Right
here.
Exactly. Is the Average Joe. All right. So the winners that take home the Average Joe get an awesome trip out on the East Coast to shoot stingrays with Corey Brossman from Interlocks out there. Corey was not able to join us this year. He had some family stuff going on. He's always brings his stuff and he does a bunch of DJing here. We call him DJ Stingray. But Corey has always donated that to the Average Joe. And the guys that won that, I talked to Corey since our tournament, and those guys have already called him.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, they were jacked up.
Oh, yeah.
So what we have here, Derek, you want to go ahead and read the teams that weighed in and how you figured this out?
Yep. So it's just the average of all of the teams that come back to weigh in. We had 61 teams that weighed in. All right. Those 61 teams weighed in 17,781.7 pounds.
Right.
All right. So the average 17,781.7 pounds divided by 61 turns out to be 291.503 for the average weight. And Matt, who was the closest? Oh, Carp Connection there.
Carp Connection. And Carp Connection had weighed in 293 pounds. Yeah. And the variance from average was 1.50 on that. And they also won
that's right. Okay, yeah.
the heaviest dogfish as well.
Yeah, I thought I saw that name up there.
Yep. So that's a really awesome prize. Jesse Hintz, Scott Brandt, Josh Miley, and Lee Ruff are heading over to shoot some stingrays.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's an awesome deal right there.
We say this every year, man. I feel like a broken record, but you get teams that don't come back to weigh in, you know. Oh, you know, maybe we're not going to finish in the money, which you never know. I know you've told stories too where you're like, oh my gosh, we should have gone back to weigh in. But the fact that you could have a completely average night on the water and win a stingray trip,
right?
If there's anything that should motivate you to come back to weigh-ins, that would be enough in itself right there. That's one heck of a trip.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. And then of course we had the a bunch of the bows that we were giving away.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We had the bows. We had X stands.
And we gave everyone had a raffle ticket that we were listing off prizes for. So there's all kinds of reasons to come back and see us on Sunday morning.
We had Outer Edge knife kits, Umarex air rifles. Tim Wells sent us up a bunch of his Fishhawk blowguns. Mary Roberts sent us a bunch of awesome looking purses. We had a bunch of stuff from Interlock. Like I said, X stands, Lakewood hardshell bow cases. It was just a lot of prizes that you could win. We did half the prizes the night before, and then half the prizes on weigh-in after weigh-ins were done.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So that right there is a little wrap-up of the 11th Annual AMS Big 20. After this little short commercial, we'll be right back with some more bow fishing news.
Why I bowfish. Hunting fish with a bow. Non-stop action. Never slow. By day, by night. Great shots. Great fights. With family, with friends. Trash talk never ends. And kids, they love it. If they miss, think nothing of it. By foot, by boat, by board or canoe. How you do it is up to you. Aim low. Shoot fast. Watch your shadow. Watch the grass. Shoot carp, rays, or gar. Shoot 'em close. Shoot 'em far. Stout arrow. Barb tip. Retrieve a reel. Let 'em rip. Bowfishing. Give it a shot.
And welcome back to the Bowfishing Buzz. Shoot 'em quick, shoot 'em fast, shoot 'em far, shoot 'em close.
Wow, was that actually the deal?
No, I don't think it was.
Okay.
No. Yep.
So, we just kind of did a little wrap-up there of the Big 20 this year, 11th Annual 2022 Big 20. As soon as we were done on Sunday, getting everything put away and everything, you were on the move. That week after. You've been doing some pretty cool stuff, getting some content, some media, shooting some fish with a bunch of different people. Matt, why don't you just kind of walk us through what your last, has it been 2 weeks now? What has your last week and a half-ish looked like?
It's been crazy, busy on the water. I love it. Had a blast. We actually went with Red Shutter and we did some filming here in Wisconsin, did a little bow fishing. And the highlight of that trip was having the president of AMS Bowfishing join us for a night on the water. And I haven't bowfished with Cindy in several years now. It's been a long time. But it was so nice to have her along and join us. She shot some really, really big carp. We had a great time. It was beautiful out there. The bugs were not bad at all. The carp were in thick, and it was just a blast. And then also that night, Schmitty, I happened to shoot my personal best Wisconsin Common that night also.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It was crazy because we're going along, and I just kind of looked over to my right. We were leaving a grass patch, and I looked over to my right, and I saw this giant common. It was broadside to me, and it was just sitting in the grass.
And you guys were on your way out of an area?
It was right on the edge of a grass flat. We were going to go around a point to another grass flat.
Okay.
And I just happened to look over, and I was like, whoa, big fish. And I swung over to that side, and I can specifically see that common's eyeballs.
Really?
Because it was a googly eye.
Oh, your favorite kind.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a googly eye. I could see his eyes under the water. And I could see, my gosh, them are big eyes. kind of like Red Riding Hood, when Mayu have big teeth.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Mayu have big eyes.
Yeah, and a big belly.
Googly eye. But it was crazy because the camera guys are on it, and I'm like, you on it? And they're like, yep. And I shot.
Oh, awesome.
And, of course, it went right behind the boat. And I'm figuring out why I'm having a hard time here. Well, here it went behind the boat. And I had the the outboard in the motor just a little bit.
Yeah.
It went underneath the outboard and then back out into the weeds.
Oh, so they
and it
get
wrapped up in the weeds.
Oh, wrapped up in the lower unit as well on the outboard?
Yes,
Oh.
yes. So I'm back there and I'm trimming the motor up and I'm trying to get that line out. And then I got the boat turned around and now he's got it just wrapped up in all these cattail weeds and stuff. So we go back there and I said, Cindy, I said, you got to get me a backup shot. This is a big fish, you know. So she smoked it and we got it in the boat.
Nice.
We're talking about it on camera and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, this is a big fish.
Okay, so when you saw that fish, Matt, before you shot, like at no point in your head were you like, this is the biggest common carp I've ever seen.
Well,
I've ever shot it.
I knew it was a 35.
Okay,
A good
okay.
35-pound common sitting there. And so we got it in the boat, and I'm lifting it up, and I'm holding it, and we're talking to the camera and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is a good fish.
Yeah.
You know, this is a good, solid fish right here. So as soon as we got done doing our little spiel for the camera and stuff there, I went down and I grabbed my scale, and I came back up on the deck, and I put the scale on it. 40.5 pounds.
Oh, 40.5.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So then we set it down, and we're all like, oh, my gosh, you know, get some pictures. We're taking some pictures of it and stuff, and we're just all kind of giggly and stuff like that there, and look at his old googly eyes and stuff. And I was like, hey, you know what? The WBA has a thing going on, you know, the last couple of years on one of the heaviest fish shot throughout the year. You win some money.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I know the guy that was leading it shot the common in our tournament, the 35.7 was leading.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, gee, we got to get this all on film. So I got the Kaluga scales or whatever they are, and I got the weights and stuff on it, and I did it all there, and it ended up 38-1.
Oh,
when I
no,
redid
you're
it.
losing weight
I
there.
was doing too much talking and too many photos
Yeah.
and stuff with that fish. He lost little fluids.
Awesome fluids. He wasn't hydrated enough.
Yeah, he lost a couple of eggs and some fluids out of his body, but 38.1 is what it ended up on the scale right there. So I was pretty jacked up about that. I was excited to get that in the boat. And then the following night, we had Stephanie Drexler, who's an employee here at AMS Bowfishing. She came up with her two kids, Garrett and Kayla. And we took them out that night. The winds were really bad, so we had to kind of tuck in behind some sheltered area where the winds weren't so bad. But, oh, my gosh, Derek, it was absolutely it was phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah. It was unreal because the size of the fish that had moved in was just awesome, staggering. I didn't shoot too much. I was trying to let the kids do a lot of shooting,
Sure,
but a
right.
couple of the fish I saw, I had a stick, and we had 35s, we had 36s. Garrett, you know, his biggest common to that date was like 12 pounds. He shot a 32.
Oh, my gosh. Talk about adding
And,
20 pounds to your biggest common.
And
Good
we
Lord.
actually, they were just having a blast. I seen the smiles on their face and the
yeah.
excitement and what actually happened. I'm chasing the fish down with the fan and stuff like that there. And it's just, they were just their eyes were just wide open and just experiencing and taking all this in. You know, it was just crazy. The water was clear. We're going over top of grass. It's like an underwater forest. And it's just beautiful. These big fish are swimming around, and it was just awesome. But we only shot for an hour and a half because Stephanie and her boys, and Stephanie and Garrett and Kayla, had to drive back to Stratford that night. So that's a 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
So we left at a little after 11 o'clock, but I actually fanned out really fast so we could get out to some deeper water to take off to go back to the boat landing. And it was just wads of giants everywhere. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. It was just, they were just everywhere. It was just something to see.
And this was all being filmed, correct? Red Shutter with you at this point?
Yeah, they were with me. I don't know
Okay.
if they were filming when I was all just cruising or getting out to deep water, but
Okay.
they were just everywhere.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
The kids really got, and I told them when we got back to the boat landing, I says, now, just so you know, this does not happen
Yeah. You spoiled them, Matt.
all the time.
Yeah.
This
Yep.
stuff like this just doesn't happen with this size of fish and this
Right.
number of large fish.
Right.
Just does not happen all the time. So I told them to cherish this and remember this because it doesn't happen all the time. Because I'll tell you what, Derek, I had to go back down with we had to do some filming with the Archery Trade Association about their Explorer Bowfishing programs for the youth and getting them involved in the sport of bowfishing. So we had Garrett and Kayla in the boat with us, and we went back 4 days later.
Yeah.
Went back to the same spot.
Really?
It was a desert.
Really? God, that is crazy.
It was a desert.
That's just crazy.
Yep.
How that can happen so fast. Same areas. That's just wild.
But no, we had a good time. We did filming for 3 days there for that program right there, And they're going to be doing so what the Archery Trade Association is trying to do with the Explorer Bowfishing is getting kids involved in the sport of bowfishing. And they wanted to put some films together this year, so they contacted us. They're going to be doing some fishing for the snakeheads in different areas, and then the silvers and stuff in different areas.
That's
so
cool.
we were picked for the common carp, and it was really fun because it's not just going out and shooting fish and putting them in the boat and stuff like that. There is talking about water refraction, proper shooting forms, gear that's used for bowfishing.
Sure. Learning how to
bowfish, because remember, these are going to be the next generation of bowfishers out there. We talked about ethics in bowfishing, proper stance, in bowfishing boats so that your 2 feet are stable all the time, because the boats always swing and stuff like that there. And people that have never done that before aren't familiar with that, type of hunting atmosphere.
Right. Right.
So it's really crazy.
Yeah, that's
but
cool.
no, we had a really good time, and it was a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing that video out there.
Yeah, that should be cool.
And seeing what that's all about. Had a good
cool.
time.
Let me throw this back here, Matt. That big fish you shot.
Yeah.
Is it still the WBA Big Common?
Well, the yearly contest that they have going on.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's still in first place. That
Yeah.
fish is okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I didn't know if that stood or if someone broke that since you shot it. So well, that's cool.
Yep.
That's kind of neat. That's cool. That's cool. I know Steph's back in the shop here. You guys were gone all last week, and just hearing her talk about how the kids talked about that trip.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Steph has not stopped hearing about bowfishing for about how many days have you guys been back?
Probably 3 weeks since a Big 20, probably.
That's true. That's true. But just the way she's talking about how Kayla and Garrett were talking about that trip, I think that will definitely leave a lasting imprint.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. And she's all psyched up. They were on film and everything. And I know Garrett's he's all into that stuff, and so that's cool that those kids got to experience.
Yeah, we had a show, wading and shooting fish fish from the boat, shooting fish during the daytime, shooting fish at nighttime, fish identification. And, man, we hit it just right on the second day we were there. We went out early in the morning, and the commons were spawning just everywhere.
Is that video that you sent me? You sent me a video.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep, and it was a lot of fun. They got to experience that. That's where they got to go into the water and wade and shoot fish, and we were filming it and all and stuff. So
that's cool.
It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, that'll be cool once that video gets released, just to see all the raw emotion of everybody on the boat. So you had to have a pretty packed boat then, huh?
Yeah, there were 6 of us in the boat.
Okay, yeah. With the filming platform in there, that takes up space too.
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. But then heading back out again next week,
I was gonna say,
Smitty.
you got no breaks here.
Heading back down to Kentucky for the Jared Ashmore Youth Tournament.
Always such a cool event. So
put on by Andy Cardwell and his whole crew down there that put on this event. It's a fabulous event. Kids come out by the hundreds. Yeah. The boats show up by the hundreds. There's tons and tons of prizes for the kids. It's just a wonderful event, and I can't wait to get back down there. And then, of course, I'm going to hook up with my good buddy down there, Dennis Redden, and we're going to go down the water and try to shoot some fish as well, try to go after some big heads, which I love to go after, and shoot some of them. I know they've been shooting a lot of fish down there below the dams here lately. So, looking forward to getting back on the road and heading south down to my good buddy Dennis Redden and shooting some of my favorite fish, the old big heads.
Yeah, the old big head, big mouth.
The old big head, big mouth.
Yeah, that's cool. That'll be a fun time. Hopefully you guys hit it, how you're wanting to.
Right. So I'm looking forward to coming back on our next podcast and showing a bunch of video from the Jared Ashmore tournament and some of our bow fishing down there. So we'll have a bunch of that to go through as well.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
But other than that, I know that there's a lot of tournaments going on right now. If you are not a member of the Bowfishing Association or a member of your local bowfishing club, make sure that you join those. Go to some of these tournaments, go to some of these events, meet new people. You're going to learn a lot about the sport. One thing that was really exciting to me, Derek, for our tournament here is we had such a variety of different boats, from smaller boats up to your big airboats. And we had people that have never shot a tournament that said, "My, this is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it." And I love to hear that, because I think what happens in these tournaments, a lot of times these smaller teams are a little intimidated.
Oh yeah, and I would totally understand how they could feel that way.
But it's a place where you can go and meet people and learn, and it's just stages of your bowfishing career.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And like I said, it's a lot of fun. Join those clubs, join those organizations, be a member, be part of the bowfishing community out there. And before we get to I think you said you got another quote of the day here.
Oh yeah,
Schmitty?
we're gonna put a quote in the boat. Don't
All right,
worry.
so before we get to that, I've been seeing a lot of stuff again on Facebook of people dumping fish in ditches at boat landings. Not cool, guys. Not cool at all. That's a black eye for not just people that are doing it, but for the whole bowfishing community.
Yeah.
Makes us all look bad.
Yep.
If you know somebody that's doing that, if you don't want to rat him out, talk to him and tell him to stop that, because that's just not cool, guys. Not cool.
That's the kind of thing that could get bowfishing banned on a body of water.
Absolutely.
People are
In a
dumping
heartbeat.
fish, and honestly, deservedly so. You can't be doing that. The most important thing, and we say this all the time, Matt, the number one thing you got to know before you go out shooting fish is what you're going to do with the fish after you're done. Have a plan.
Have a plan, exactly, because if you're going to do that, we don't want you
Yeah, exactly.
on the water bowfishing.
Yep.
You are not the bowfishing community.
No.
All right?
No.
Don't do it. Not cool.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Yeah. So.
Just had to say that.
Nope, absolutely. We should say that every once in a while just to give everyone a reminder. That's it's a very important thing to always keep an eye on for sure.
And if you don't think that by doing something like that can stop bowfishing on certain lakes and certain bodies of water, you're badly mistaken.
Yep.
Because it can.
Yep, absolutely.
It can.
Absolutely. All right, Matt.
All
so
right.
I got one here for you, and as I was looking through these different quotes, I think that this one is going to be the most tricky one for you to relate back to the
I
sport of
haven't guessed
bowfishing.
any of them right.
You're
I
not-
got the Forrest Gump one.
Yeah,
right.
and you're not gonna get this guy. You're not gonna guess him right. You know what? So I'm just gonna tell you that this quote was said by John Rockefeller. Okay.
No, see, I would have got that.
Oh yeah,
I would've got that.
You knew that he's an 1800
he's
businessman.
a billionaire in the oil industry. I think
Okay.
he is. I don't know.
He was one of the wealthiest men in America in the
I think
1800s.
it is oil or something like that. But okay.
So that's who said it. But
Okay.
I think that this one is gonna kind of go against what I would assume you're gonna relate it to. But I'll just see what you're gonna come up with here. Okay. So
All right.
here's the quote: "Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great." How could you relate that to the sport of bullfishing?
I take that in tournament wise. When you're always shooting, a lot of these bigger tournaments, they have a big fish pot, and it's usually over $2,000. So if you're sitting there and you're shooting, 23-pound fish, 24-pound fish, just saying average, that's a pretty good average. But saying you're shooting some of those fish right there, especially in a tournament, sometimes you got to leave those fish. Sometimes you have to go to a different lake if you can. Different part of the river system, and look for that one golden nugget.
Yeah. See, and the reason I thought, because I've heard you say multiple times, don't leave fish
It's
to
hard.
find fish.
It's hard. Absolutely. Oh, we just had a, sorry about that. That was a little pop-up.
Well, Facebook notification for
Yeah.
everybody to hear with us today.
Yeah, it's hard. I always say never leave fish to go find fish, but sometimes you have to go find that golden nugget. It might be worth it. Just a couple weeks ago, we were shooting in the Petenwell Castle Rock tournament, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, I says, "Hey Jody, let's go run up on this one flat up here, and let's just go take a peek at it." Fish were pretty scarce that night, but I said, "Let's just go take a peek at it." So we went over there, and we just got onto that flat, and we started going, and all of a sudden I looked over, and I said, "Oh, big fish!" And we shot it, and it was a 25-pound common, and that definitely went into our weight.
Sure.
I said, "Hey Jody," I said, "let's go check out this other spot over here." So we ran over there. 31-pound buff, and those are only two fish on those spots that we actually use for weigh-in, but those were two fish. You got a 25-pound fish and a 31-pound fish.
Sure.
That actually definitely helped our weight there.
Sure. So, okay, on average, Matt, say you're shooting a tournament and you're on fish, okay, and you're thinking in the back of your mind, there's a nagging little voice saying, "Oh man, I wonder if we could find bigger fish somewhere else." Roughly, what percent of the time is it worth leaving fish to go find bigger fish? How often do you guys leave fish and then be like, "Oh yeah, okay, that was the right move. We're on bigger fish here. That was worth it," compared to, "Dang it, we shouldn't have left." Roughly, what's that breakdown?
It happens a lot when you say, "Dang it, we should have left." and you don't leave.
Oh,
It
okay.
happens a lot. And it also plays in if you're what type of tournament format you're in. If it's a like a multi-body water or a state open tournament,
Okay.
that plays in a big difference because now you got to take time in consideration, driving back to the boat launch, loading the boat, driving to that spot, unloading the boat, getting to your spot. How much time is that
Yeah,
going to
that's
take?
true.
How much time is that going to take? How much time do you need in that body of water? A lot of times fish move in early in the mornings. A couple years ago, we were shooting a tournament. And we were shooting, some really good fish, but they were all the same size. But we were shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting, and we decided to stay there and just see if any bigger fish moved in. And some bigger fish moved in that morning. We shot a 37-pound common that morning at sunrise. So it all plays on the type of species you're after, location, type of tournament. But I always say never leave fish to go find fish.
Yeah. Okay.
That's one of my rules of thumb.
Gotcha.
Never leave fish to go find fish.
Gotcha. Cool. Yep. That's a good way to wind that into that quote. That's cool.
Yep. And then I think we're pretty much done with the old Bowfishing Buzz episode 38.
Yep.
But before we close out, Schmitty, we got a little product highlight, do we?
Yeah. And we did a video on this, Matt, too, when we were down in Kentucky. It's our new clamp quiver, our quiver clamp that we have. We made some advancements to it, you could say. So it's still the same old good old-fashioned clamp and quiver that you guys are used to putting your arrow into and being able to adjust that retriever. But now we've added, we changed the quiver aspect of it. The quiver aspect now has 3 holes for standard size Allen wrenches.
Yep.
Your typical standard size that you would need out on the water type Allen wrenches. And also,
This is my favorite part.
yeah, this is the cool part. I think there's 3 holes on them now
3.
that you can put in. It fits them nice and tight replacement tips.
Yes.
So you're shooting fish at night. Say you got a tip that's a little dull. You shoot a rock, whatever the case may be. You want to take that tip out. No more digging around in the bottom of the boat in a tackle box trying to find a tip in the dark. You can have 3 of them sitting there ready to rock and roll. Take the old one out. And when we were down there, Matt, literally all we did is just we held our bow and we lined the arrow up with the quiver clamp, and we just threaded it right in. It holds it tight enough that you can thread it tight,
Right.
pop it out, put your old one back in that hole now. Now it's stored. It's not rolling around everywhere, and you're ready to rock and roll.
Yep.
What could take 5 or 10 minutes now takes 20 seconds to
Right.
be ready to rock and roll.
Bingo, bango, new tip, shoot some more fish.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, so check out that quiver clamp from AMS here.
Absolutely. That only means one thing, Schmitty. Episode 38 is almost in the books.
Yep.
Get on the water, have some fun, shoot some fish, enjoy your family, enjoy your friends. That's what Bowfishing is all about, making memories on the water, everybody.
Yes.
Get out there and enjoy the sport we all love so much. From all of us at AMS Bowfishing, remember, aim low.
Think big. Thanks for listening, guys.